No fence riders for the upcoming Browns versus Commanders game. We are in football mode for the rest of this show and then over on the WKYC show. So let's play a little no fence riders, guys. The first question, Jayden Daniels has completed over 85% of his passes in each of the last 2 games. First quarterback in NFL history to ever do that. We lowered the number so it wouldn't be a historic rate, but the question was, will Jayden Daniels complete 77% of his passes against the Browns defense? We had a dead even split. Earl, Tyvis, Jason, and Bull said, yes, he will. Dustin, G. Bush, myself, and Jay all said, no, he won't. Jason, you're the one yes on the panel. Why'd you say yes?
Because Washington, I didn't look at the numbers after this last game, but Washington leads the league in at and behind the line of scrimmage, last I looked. Everything is short and quick, sort of the way, all up until last night's game, the way of the league this year has been short and quick, lateral more than vertical, and I think it's going to continue. I do think we'll get into it as we go.
Passes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're high percentage passes. They're more than likely to be completed. You can easily get
a couple deep shots though last week.
Yeah,
and was absolutely on the money.
Yes, he was.
The McLaurin pass is just.
But it's
that's
easy.
A veteran throw.
It's easy to start 6-6, 7-7 when this is what you're doing. Right. When it's all quick and lateral. So I actually have a really good feeling about this Browns game.
Do you?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I do. And we can talk about that more as we go. But just when you think you've got this league figured out is when it fools you. And everyone Washington stock is as high as it can go, and Cleveland stock feels like it's about rock bottom right now. And just when you think you've got it figured out, that's when it turns.
I agree with that sentiment. I really do. That when everybody thinks they know who's going to win, the NFL always throws you a curveball.
Yeah.
Last night, when it looked imminent that the Bucs were going to win, you get a crazy holding penalty to keep the viewers for the last minute 30, and you totally ignore the obvious face mask that would have negated the holding penalty, and you just get the sense that whatever magic potion the league has, they have the ability to make every game close.
Yeah.
Every game matter until the very second. By the way, that's how they maximize ratings. If it's a blowout in the third quarter, the rating plummets.
Clicking off.
And there are very few games this year that have been put to bed and decided by early in the fourth quarter. The reason I said no, Jay, is it's just not logical to think that he can continue. It's just not. Now, I know that's what he does, short and quick, and he's been very accurate. He moves out of the pocket well. He finds open guys. But 77% cannot be the new bar.
That's better than 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
It's better than 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
And here's a stat that will just blow your mind. The Commanders have had 23 scoring drives this year. Jayden Daniels has thrown 16 incompletions.
19.
19.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You ready
That
for Jay? So you missed the 5 stats yesterday. That's not even the best Jayden Daniels stat.
I know. I was reading a packet yesterday that came from ESPN on Jayden Daniels, and every single one was more jaw-dropping than the previous stat.
Can I give you my favorite one I saw?
What is your favorite Jayden Daniels stat?
He's had 4 career starts. In 2 of those career starts, his team has scored on every offensive possession minus kneel downs.
It's unreal.
Mahomes, Brady, Breeze, and someone else. Breeze, Brady, Mahomes, and Manning. In 1,094 career starts, have done it twice.
See, this,
That's the best Jayden Daniels stat I've heard. Now, I think he's going to be great, and I think the Commanders are going to win. But I just can't imagine that he's going to throw at 77% completion rate. I think that he's been, I'm not saying it's all been luck, but he's had a lot of luck go his way. And I just think that, he's going to be 74% or 71%.
That's wild. See, this is why I'd be so upset when I have to talk about 77%. No, first and foremost, we're gonna stamp this. The Browns gotta win. They better win. All this 1-4. Okay, is the season over? You going to go play a rookie quarterback. I don't care if that rookie quarterback is Bart freaking Starr or Theismann. I don't care. Listen, man. You got to go in there.
He's better than both those guys.
Hey, he's played 4 games. And you know what I know with rookies usually fall off? How's about you just keep bringing pressure? How's about we do that? How's about, you know what, if you're going to be great, You're going to beat us being great when we unload the chambers, so to speak. We're the same way they go after Deshaun Watson, they should be going the same way after him. And I'm telling my guys in the back end, hey, listen, I'm challenging you. This is a challenge to Martin Emerson. It's a challenge to Greg Newsome. It's a challenge to Denzel Ward. I'm tired of saying people is good and great, but yet and still we chalking it up for 77% by a rookie. Come on, bro. You
insane.
You guys been all pros in this league. Myles Garrett is one of the best defenders. I'm challenging Jim Schwartz and his defense this week. Under no circumstances can you let Jayden Daniels, I don't care if he's playing at home or a Mars, you cannot let him have 77 completion percentage. And if he does, you just chalk it up to like this. I like what Bernie says. You're going to be getting up off the ground a whole lot. And I might be willing to take 15 yards. Yeah. I really might. He's slider built. I might be able to take a couple 15 on you.
You know the matchup I can't wait to see is McLaurin and Ward.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're not going to be on each other every play.
I put him on him every play.
I would.
In the Jim Schwartz defense.
Per Jay's, Jay says you get this half and you get this half.
That's the way they've played historically.
If I'm calling plays for Washington, I'm seeing where Ward is, and I'm motioning McLaurin, and I'm getting him to the other side.
Well, that's called dumb, Jim Schwartz.
Well, I agree with that, but that's what they've done.
That's what they've done.
Come on, Einstein.
That's what
listen.
he preaches.
I know he does.
Bro.
That's fine if you've got two blanket cover guys. You don't.
I don't understand why it is a weakness to make adjustments. What the heck is that thought process?
I think it's arrogance. Would you agree with that? He's saying, I'm not changing what I do for anyone. I believe my system can stop anyone, and it hasn't.
And I've talked to, I've been working on a story on the flaw in the Browns defense, and I'm curious to see how it looks against Washington. The numbers are overwhelming when you move the pocket, and when you combine play action with rollouts, with boots, and get in the pocket on the move, is how you beat this defense. But all the guys I've talked to on this defense say, we do what we do, and we make guys adjust to us.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
And
I don't think that works.
What you're doing is not working very well.
Well,
Martin Emerson is getting picked on. Greg Newsome is getting picked on.
Yes, I just think you have to adjust to what the other team is doing.
And they did. What was it, the Giants game, where it felt like they did start moving Denzel around more.
Too late, though.
I know.
It was too late because I'm watching saying, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Why are we banging our head against the same wall and expecting different results?
We're going to get to the second question. We're going to fly through this question because we're going to do more on the next topic. But will Deshaun Watson throw for 210 yards against this Commanders defense? He hasn't hit the 200-yard mark yet this season. Jay and Dustin, they don't think it's going to happen. The rest of us all say it will. We're going to move on because we're going to talk about Deshaun in more length in the next topic about that very specific thing. Question number 3, Steve. Let's get right to the next one. The Browns have scored an opening touchdown on 3 of their 4 opening drive touchdown in 3 of their 4 games this year. They scored a field goal in the 4th, so they've scored on every opening drive this season. Will they do it again against Washington? Tyvis, Jason, Bull, and Dustin all say, oh yeah, it's going to happen. Jay, myself, Earl said no.
I always play the law of averages. That's why I said he's not going to throw for 77%. The more sample size you have, the more you regress to the mean.
Yeah.
The Browns scoring on 3 of their first 4 drives, it's nice. It's fun to look at. But if you look at the Browns' number of scoring drives, or number of drives, and the number of drives they've scored on, they've had touchdown drives on 3 other drives from all 4 games.
Yeah.
So I just think because of that, it's got to regress to the mean at some point, and I think this is when it happens.
If they can't score in the first drive, when are they going to score?
Well, listen, based on what we've seen in the past, they won't.
Jay,
but
we did the stat yesterday. They have 46 total drives. They have 60 points. 24 points have come on the first drive. That means they've scored 36 points on their 42 other drives.
Well, of those 60 points, 6 came from the defense.
No. They scored 66
Offense.
total. I took out the defense touchdown.
So 60 points in 4 games. Well, like I said, I think I read this right. They scored 3 touchdowns on their 4 opening drives. Mm-hmm. They've scored 3 touchdowns on all their other drives in the 4 games.
I think that is correct.
That's just not acceptable.
Right.
I'm sorry, that is not acceptable. And what I don't understand is, and Jason helped me with this, sports at the professional level is all about making adjustments. That's why it's maddening that Schwartz won't make an adjustment. If you're going to let McLaurin get away from Denzel Ward, then you're neutralizing your best player. You put your best player on their best player and hope that you can put a lid on them. Hope that your guy's better than their guy. What I don't understand is when you look at that fact, they've scored 3 touchdowns in their 4 opening drives. They've scored 3 touchdowns on all of their other drives this season. That tells me that the defense is seeing what you're doing and they're making adjustments to it. And you're just doing the same old thing.
I mean, let's just be honest with you, man. Go back to the second part of last year. And you go back, they got victimized by the Broncos. They gave up huge plays against the Seahawks. As you go, the Rams beat them on nothing but jet sweeps.
The Texans.
The Texans destroyed them. The defense has not looked that good in almost a calendar year. And we've been still living off the Cincinnati game, and we still living off the 49ers game. Guys, they had a reverse. You don't get beat on reverses in high school. When the last time you seen a high school team get a reverse ran to the house on them? They don't even try to run it. And they're doing it. They're just, our defensive ends run upfield and they do. And then you refuse. Here's how I know Martin Emerson and Greg Newsome getting picked on. Because magically last week, all of a sudden, we started seeing these 10-yard cushions. We've never seen a 10-yard cushion.
No, they love man press.
They press man. And all of a sudden, 10 yards off, rally into the football. I'm like, when did this? Because they aren't good enough to play man-to-man coverage the way people are victimizing them now. That's it.
When you talk about the offense, I do think the best way for this team to attack is I know they lost, but what we saw last week and what we saw against Jacksonville. Establish the run, short, quick passes, play action, deep shots when appropriate, strategic deep shots.
Right.
When you try and just we talked about it after the Giants game. When you just line up in shotgun and you're just running guys down the field, they have the slowest receivers in the league, and they aren't good at creating separation.
And aren't they last in separation created too?
I don't know. They were last.
They were last after week 3.
Yeah, I didn't look at it after week 4, but after week 3, their creation of separation was last.
And it doesn't mean you can't win with these guys. You can. But you just you
have to game plan to their strengths.
And I thought they did that in weeks 1 and in weeks 2 and 4. I thought they did that. And yeah, they lost the game last week. They could have won that game. We could argue they should have won that game. But that's what's going to give them the best chance to win is establish the run, play action, short, quick, get the ball out, and deep shots when they're there.
The only way the Browns are going to be successful this year is if they start making adjustments. They need to have adjustments where, yes, we're going to have Denzel follow, and we need to stop the run more. And on offense, they got to scrap this stuff. Like this stuff, we all know we ain't not dumb. We didn't watch the game. They better go back to that old playbook. And people say, well, G. Bush, you said you didn't like that playbook. And Deshaun, I said, listen, you think it and read and react on the run, fellas. If you don't keep doing and pounding your head against the concrete just to say you were right and take an L. I would rather be wrong and win than be right and take L's.
Yeah.
The roster is set to play that way.
That's it.
It's not even a question of making Deshaun comfortable. Yes, of course you want to make your quarterback comfortable. Of course. But it's the rest of the roster. The rest of the roster is built to play the way that they've played in the past. Again, you don't have fast receivers.
Again, your offensive line is banged up and you can't protect that all that well.
So you're not going to just automatically Amari Cooper's not going to turn into Tyreek Hill. Like that's not – you have to play within the confines of your roster and what you have. And this team is built for heavy sets, extra offensive linemen, play action, establish the run, short, quick passes, deep shots when they're available.
And by the way, some would say the best player that you have has a 21-day window coming back. And that's the way you won with him.
That's the way you...
So why not just set yourself up a little bit and say, hey, Nick is coming back. Let's take a couple of weeks to work our way into that so we can hand the doggone ball off.
On that note, 30 seconds because I know we got to go. Any indication whatsoever that you would predict, based on what you're hearing and seeing, that Nick will be back in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks?
It's certainly not going to be Sunday. I would not rule out.
That's been ruled out for sure?
No, not a fit, but I don't think he's coming back this week.
Okay.
Next week, we'll
Maybe.
see. Maybe.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right.
We'll see. I don't think next week's out
How's
of the question.
Njoku?
I think he's good, right? I think
hope
he's good
so.
to go. I think.
I haven't heard definitively either way he's going or he's
I'm
not.
going to
I guess we'll
practice-
find out for sure tomorrow.
I'm going to practice after the show today. I'm heading out there.
Okay, great.
To see, but
Okay.
I would expect him to play. I think he's tough, man.
He is
All right.
tough.
Next question here. What number will be higher on Sunday? Washington's team total of rushing yards. They average 169, third in the NFL. Or the combined yardage of Dustin Hopkins made field goals. 5-3 split. This one was close. Myself, Jay, and Dustin all went with Hopkins, while Earl, G, Tyvis, Jason, and Bull don't believe in the Browns' rushing defense and said the Washington team total on rushing yards would be higher. G, you're out on this Browns rush defense?
Yeah, listen, I don't like – I was watching Quentin Jefferson. Boy, oh boy, he's not very good at the run. They might need to start playing some of these young dudes. Alex Wright is now out, and he's going to be out for the year. And this is the problem because you have Zadarius Smith, who I haven't seen it
He's
from
a ghost.
him. I have not seen it, and that's against the run. That's against the pass. I know it says he has 2
And now
sacks.
Alex Wright.
And now Alex Wright is gone, and then Myles Garrett is already banged up. And you was trying to get people to Obo is. I haven't seen him since last year. If you got 2 rookie guards, that's why I say you got to switch it up a little bit. Maybe you need to be going to a little heavier fronts. Maybe you need to be doing some different things off the movement of the ball. The Browns have been traditionally get on the line of scrimmage and rush upfield. Maybe you need to start doing some stuff in the middle to try to confuse these guys.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to be putting, some run blitzes in the game. But right now, in the middle, and here's the thing that they miss. The Browns miss Mike Hall Jr. Mike Hall was going to be playing a considerable amount of football.
It looked like it.
And-
They'll get him back after this week.
And, I haven't, Maurice Hurst hasn't played this year. Shelby Harris, we seen him there. And Tomlinson is a run stopper, has not made that big of a difference either.
No. Is it too early to say Jim Schwartz has lost some of his fastball?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
He's still a good. He's a good defensive coordinator,
Yeah.
right? And they've had. I think the Alex Wright thing is really huge
Yeah,
for
big.
this defense. I don't know if he's ever going to turn into a star, but he's a guy I think can play in this league for a long time.
And they were counting on him.
Yeah.
He was contributing.
Yeah.
And now that contribution for the season.
For the question,
is lost.
I don't know that they're going to get absolutely gashed, but I'm kind of looking at this as 2 or 3 field goals around 30, 35, 40 yards. That's 105, 110 or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're going to give up more than that on the ground. It doesn't mean they're going to get
Killed.
killed for 200.
I threw in because this is what the Browns do. They kick field goals, and they kick long field goals.
Yeah.
And so I threw in 250 yarders
Yeah.
and maybe a 35-yarder. And at 135, if you give up 135 yards on the ground, you're likely losing.
I don't like that Jay and I have similar thought processes on this question and very different feelings about the game because I know your headline, Jay,
Yeah.
and I know my headline, and we have very different opinions on how this outcome
Listen,
is going to go.
I
but
hope
our
to
thinking
God I'm
is
wrong.
very in line
Yeah.
with this. All right, next question. Who's going to have more receiving yards on Sunday? Amari Cooper or Terry McLaurin? I went with Amari Cooper. So did Dustin and Tyvis. All 3 of you out on the set went with McLaurin.
Why I don't know, why would you pick Amari Cooper?
Well, I mean, if that 82-yarder stands last year, you're looking at 2 back-to-back big weeks.
Yeah.
For him. I mean, that's the argument for picking him. I just picked McLaurin because I don't think the Browns are going to be smart enough to have Denzel shadow him.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about Martin Emerson. I'm concerned because what starts to happen a little bit is people start to find a little something on film.
They see it.
And they're like, oh, so this is what you're susceptible against. Let's go ahead and run that again. No, I think Terry McLaurin is going to have a good game. I think their offense is more, I wouldn't say predictable. Their offense has shown a better track record of success this year. You know what I mean? Like, the quarterback is completing all his completions. Now, he's also spread the ball around a little bit, and they're a good running team. So, for me, I think this is going to have to be a game where you can't give Washington a two-way go. You either going to say you're going to beat us in the air or you're going to beat us in the ground. You can't give them 270 yards
Which
in the
one,
air.
if you're Cleveland, which one are you working to take away the most?
The run. Because if you put him in positions, and I know he's a rookie and playing well, but I want a rookie throwing the ball 60 times. You know, the law of averages say if you drop back 60 times, how many times can I get pressure? 10, 15? How many times am I going to get a tip ball? Maybe one or two. How many times he might read a defense?
But if he throws 60 times at his current completion percentage, that means they're going to successfully complete 54 passes.
Right.
That's going to be a long day. If they got 54 completions,
Can you imagine?
that's going to be a long
60?
day.
Good Lord.
I know.
I do think I think the quarterback's really good, but as you get more film on him, the numbers will come down. I know I just said yes to the 77%, but the more teams get tape on him, I do think, and as the season goes on, like they're usually around week 6 or so, you've got maybe 7 or 8 quarterbacks over 70%. You're like, wow, this is incredible. And then by the time the year's over, there's 2.
Yeah, it always comes back.
Why? So don't you have to say Jim Schwartz versus Jayden Daniels? Jim Schwartz has to win that matchup.
For the Browns to
Well,
win.
yeah, to win, you're absolutely
Like,
right.
aren't you expecting a coach of his caliber? Think about if you just swap the names out. Bill Belichick versus a rookie quarterback.
Well, I'm not putting Jim Schwartz
I'm not putting him in that class
Belichick's
either.
category.
But you know, like
Your
know,
point's right, G. That's a matchup. Versus a
No,
rookie
it's-
quarterback.
it-
you should win that.
This was
Based
supposed to
on
be the number one defense in
reputation, if this
football.
game comes down to the rookie quarterback against Jim Schwartz, you better win. I'm sorry, you better come up with a scheme
Right.
that can stop this kid because there's 4 weeks of tape on him now. We have tendencies. We know enough now about what he's going to do. If you can't stop him, then you need to put the radar gun on his fastball and see if he hasn't lost a little bit.
Because it's all about, I'm looking at individual matchups now. And everybody on the roster, including the coaching staff, has to win their individual matchup.
You're right.
This kid is balling out. Jim Schwartz, you're the defensive player, assistant coach of the year. You are one of the best, seen in the league as one of the best defensive minds. You got to cook something up to get this dude off his spot. That's all there is to it.
When we looked at the schedule when it came out, we said week 5, rookie quarterback. Like before he catches fire, before he figures things out, that's a pretty favorable matchup. And now you can see how fast the tables have turned. All right, last question, then we're going to move on to another Browns topic. The Browns are the only team in football that have not scored 20 points in a game this season. Will that continue on Sunday? Jay, you and Dustin are not optimistic. The rest of us are all, and maybe I'm speak for everyone here, they better damn well score 20 points.
Well, listen, I never make my picks on they better or, man, we really need to. I make my picks based on what I think is going to happen based on what I've seen to this point. And to this point, I've seen a Washington defense that has been way better than I thought they were, and I've seen a Browns offense that is woefully underperformed. Will it change? It could, but on this one, I'm going to stay with the averages.
You got to, again, we talked about Jim Schwartz. Hey, Kevin Stefanski, look, man, you got the plays, you got the offense, y'all scheming stuff up. I don't care if you got to break out the trick plays. I don't care if you got to break them out early. You got to get over 20 points. This Washington defense is giving up all kind of points in the air. Figure it out. Why is everybody? I just need, this week is figure it out weekend. Like, everybody else is doing their things. The Raiders figured it out last week.
Yeah.
Without their best players, with 2 rookie guards, they running the football. They found a way to run reverses and get some stuff going, get a sack at the end of the game. They figured it out. It's time for the Cleveland Browns as a whole to figure it out. I don't care if if you got to have a flea flicker or a reverse double pass. You better have your best stuff, because I'm telling you, this is a game you have to win. And we should not be fooling ourselves here. They go 1-4 with what they got coming up later on in the year. It's a wrap. Yeah. I'm not trying to be negative, but that they need to have that level of urgency going into this game, saying, look, we know what it looked like for playoffs in 1-3. We also know what the history books say.
1-4, it's almost, it rarely happens.
Can't do that.
It rarely happens.
Can't
at
do it.
1-4.
Can't do it.
20 points is not a high bar, guys.
Yeah,
But they haven't reached it yet in 4 games.
I know. But again, just when you think you got it figured out, just when you think you
Yeah.
know, that's when it flips, and that's what I'm counting
Boy,
on.
do I firmly believe that.
Yeah.
And I hope that in this case it's right.
if this is
Because
the-
right now they look like the class of the NFC East, and right now we're 0-2 against the NFC
Yeah.
East.
If this is the
Yeah.
week, if this is the week where Deshaun Watson gives people something to cheer for, because at the end of the day, when people say they don't like it, what they want is they know Flacco ain't that crazy, but what they seeing is other people around the league at least get to cheer and cheer on offensive plays and touchdowns that look like you're going something. If this is the week that Deshaun Watson is going to give them that. Man, that was a really good game, and he was the reason that they won that game. He came and outshined everybody. This is the week.
Well, it sets up for him to be the hero.
Yeah,
Because they need a win
Need it.
to save a real semblance
Need
of
it.
a playoff run. And I can't believe I'm saying that in week 5. But if he rides in and delivers that win, and now the difference between 2-3 and 1-4,
Massive.
massive
You
difference.
need it.
So
go
let's
ahead,
be
Nuggets.
the guy that you're paid to be, and ride in on that horse and save the day.